All right, continuing on from last time, we're replacing Rehearsal Pro legacy code that stores line sets using core data, i.e. in a SQLite database. We're replacing that with taking the received JSON from the backend and simply storing it in its own file to make it platform independent. What you see here is the code that has been tweaked, hacked, modified to replace the original core data written in an Objective-C implementation here. It is going through our shared facade because we're now going to delegate through the platform implementation in Kotlin. So this original line set core data call has been replaced with this call to shared facade. Shared facade says store string is file. That's all we're doing, providing a string and a file name. That's it. For now, we've got this placeholder. We'll get a better name later. And this is a facade needed for Objective-C because we just can't call the Kotlin code directly easily. So we're going through this facade. It also encapsulates some of the module names and that. So we see that here we have this module on the Kotlin side called app storage, which actually matches the name of the file, app storage. So that's how Kotlin Multiplatform works. Takes a Kotlin file name, turns it into a namespace here, which I guess is, well, this is a class because in Objective-C, that's how you do it with static methods. In fact, we can see that if we look at the generated Objective-C code. Let's see if we can bring that up again. Oops. rehkmp, this is where we are. We want to go down into rehearsal shared. Let's do a find dash name rehearsal sha.h. For all of the platform binding stuff generated by Kotlin, we end up with that. Actually, this gets, there should be a third one here. Let's do a build on this. Maybe it wasn't built recently. Because it actually gets injected into the iOS project's pod framework. Okay, that built. Oh, you can't see it because it's actually plugging into my phone. Let's use the emulator here, just so you can see it. Although there's not really anything that interesting to see. We'll use Pixel 5. And while that's building, we should have a third. Oh, that's interesting. It's not there. Why is it not there? It was there before. Let's try doing the iOS build from the Android Studio KMP side. Maybe this is necessary to generate the intermediate file or shove it into the pod spec. Shouldn't be though. There we go. There you can see it. CocoaPods framework header. What's funny is this actually launched. It actually launched it over here on the simulator. This is the same iPhone simulator that's being used by Xcode, but obviously since it's a separate process, the Android Studio was able to launch it itself. So if I stop it, we'll see. It should stop. Yes? No. That's interesting. Actually, it was already running over here. Maybe it was running twice. Let's try that again. Is it going to run? It's building. Yeah. Huh. Might have been running two separate instances of it, or confusing. Either way. So we just want to edit this file. Cut and paste. gbim. All right, popped up on my lower display. Here's how we can see that. And we're looking for app storage, KT. And it looks like, oh yes, an Objective-C interface is what gets generated here. And this is so this is what it looks like to Xcode. This is what it looks like to the iOS side. From, in this case, a Swift facade for Objective-C. As you can see, the Objective-C class annotation here. And it simply can be called from Swift as such. Stir versus string, I hate that. Let's do this. S is S, file spec. And that's what it looks like over here. Stir. So I'm going to change this to S. I like short names when it's just a really generic variable. In this case, it's just a string, so it's string S. That's good enough. Is the string that we're interested in. Let's recompile this. That is, I like short names when the name of the variable doesn't need to be descriptive. I mean, if we call the variable string, what the hell are we saying? This is a string also. This is the thing that we're trying to store. The content. You could say content, the most overloaded word ever in software. No, it's not the most overloaded. There's worse than that. Compose, that's a good one that's overloaded. Okay. Probably had a failure because these names don't match. Let's just have name consistency here. Yeah, this kind of name redundancy on the Swift side is sort of lame. Okay. So we can see what happens is when this calls through here, all this does is bounce it back to the platform implementation for now. At some point we'll write platform independent code for doing file storage, or not. But the calling code doesn't know that, right? The calling code basically is saying delegate to shared code and let it decide how it wants to implement that. In this case, it's saying go back to the platform on this side, and here we have our platform functions, and here's the platform function it's looking for. And we need to implement this really soon, which is literally right now. So just to test that if we run this, we're going to end up over here. Let's confirm. We have our breakpoints. This is getting called by the synchronization, where it actually pulls script information from the back end. And in that is a line set that needs to be stored. So there we go. Breakpoint, we get there. So now we just need to implement it, because right now it's doing nothing. So let's take a look at how we're going to go about this. This is strictly on the iOS side, and we're going to look at the legacy code that's in place for file storage, because there's other data within this app where things are stored in simple files, namely the PDFs for the scripts themselves, along with captured audio, captured video, text comments, things like that. So if we go through our legacy code here, we have Objective-C, we've got Swift. We're going to go down to found, because that's where I happen to know that it is. This is just stuff based on the foundation, so it's fairly rudimentary. In this case, you can see there's a file service. Legacy code I did not write. Ruslan wrote this. File service is a subclass on RS file service, which is also in here. And RS file service does what looks like just basic file stuff. Okay, there's a file manager. Is that within the foundation, or is this yet another class? Again, Xcode is helpless. This is a successfully compiled program. In fact, it's running right now. And you can't tell me where this is. Jump to definition. Has no idea. So let's just do a find text in workspace when all else fails. This is basically a grep. File manager, file manager, file manager. Is there a file manager class, or is this a... What do we got here? File manager as well. Wow. What is this? FIRCLS file manager. FIRCLS. I've not even seen this. Some code from Google, so it wasn't written by Apple. What is this code? Firebase, Crashalytics. I don't know that this is the same file manager. Look at all these file managers. Wow, look at all this. This is mostly library code, looks like. This is not. NS file manager, okay, that would be next step. So that would be old Objective-C code. Well, it looks like it's this guy right here. Okay, file manager default, Swift class. Can you open that? Oh, look at that, NS file manager. Plus there's some extensions. Of course there are. We got to monkey patch everything. Source, legacy, Swift, UI view. Why is this in UI view if it's just file manager? Shouldn't depend on the UI at all. This is in the same place, NS file manager. And this is the, I guess, well, this is .h.h. Why do I have two lookups here? I bet this is in the same file. I mean, it is the same file, NS file manager. Okay. Ah, frameworks, foundation, NS file manager. Okay. Yeah, so this is an Apple library. It's been around a while, obviously, makes sense. But file manager is what? That looks like a Swift class. Extensions. Here we go. Oh, it's just in a file named, oh sure, let's just put all extensions in a thing called extensions. That's not generic. Yeah, great. It's just really great to have your code just spread out all over the place in pieces. Okay. A couple of little extra things on top of file manager. So let's see, where's the original definition? This guy. So Swift exposes this class with simply the name file manager. But it's essentially the same thing. Written in 1994. That's okay, I've got code as old as that too. So for all of Apple's advancements, basically most of it is just sitting on top of a lot of really old code with a lot of really old names. But hey, as long as it works, as long as it's reliable, does the job, that's what matters. Okay, so I don't want to look at the API for all this complex and confusing. What we need is just a good sample of something using it. So let's go back to our file service guy. And that sitting on top of RS file service does the real work. So it looks like save data. This guy is the guy that writes an initial file or updates it. So it does a C or a U operation on a file. We've got some pathing resolution stuff. There's our delete, copy, move, content string. All right. So let's take a look at this. And let's do a find because, oh, I did find symbol. Find symbol doesn't seem to work very good. Let's try find text in workspace. Okay, so who's calling this guy? Comment plus functions. This looks pretty straightforward. Text comment, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty close to a string. A text comment's just like a string. So let's see how this guy's being used. There we go. Nice and simple. Click select, show text, and right here we do a save data. So this looks like a useful call right here. Data equals text data. So yeah, that's not a terribly overloaded word, data, just like string. And then we update the comment, and then we refresh comments. This is other stuff we don't care about. So really, this is the meat of all we really need. So let's see what happens if we just paste this in. And we don't really need to guard anything. Save data, does it take a string? What does it take? It takes a string, an optional, no, that's a path. Data is data. Of course it is. Sure. That's a strongly defined type. And of course, there's no definition for it. Jump to definition. I have no idea what this is. Okay. Let's see, where's the meat of this? Data write to. Of course, it's a method on the object, which is the data, and you tell it to write to the file. That's how this works, rather than simply create a file and write to it. File URL, directory, file manager, data write to. Amazing. Object orientation really does just turn things on its head, as if I didn't know that already. Okay. Should I dare do a search for data? How many hits do you think we're going to find here? Ooh, there's a few. Look at that. Look at that scroll bar. Yeah, that's not an overloaded word at all. Lesson to you out there: use more specific words when they need to be specific. Wow. Amazing. Text data. Let's go back and see what this is. Text comment is a base comment. Data equals text data. What is text? Text is an argument passed in, router show text, content text. So that's probably this thing. I watch jump to definition. No. Oh, there we go. Oh, found something. File service content string. Wow. Another example of how convoluted frameworks on libraries, on frameworks, on objects really can make code unnecessarily complex. All we want to do is take a string. We have a file spec. We want to store it. That's it. Why does this have to be so complicated? What is to be gained by that? I mean, this is essentially all we're trying to do here. But instead of going to the file manager and getting something to represent that file and putting the data in the file, it's flipped on its head. We have to take data and tell it what file to write to. So that's not very cohesive. Basically, that means this data object is got I/O operations on it. That's a good way to make something not reusable and not pure, is to actually bundle your I/O directly onto your data structures. There's a reason it's called I/O, input and output. This is the thing, this is the pipe through which the data should be pushed, not the other way around. Not go to the data and specify the pipe that it needs to know about and deal with in some way. Amazing. Although really this is just a serialization operation in theory. Let's go to that definition and see what we get. We get nothing. Xcode's helpless again here. Okay. A file service content string given a file path. What is this? A comment. Its text is defined as a content string within the file. It almost looks like accessing this property performs an IO operation right here. That's what it looks like to me. Oh, okay. This is our own thing here. We're back in, okay, so we just looped back around. Wow, look at that. Content string, given a path, return string contents of file. Oh my God. Just when you thought it can't get worse. So now the basic string class has an IO operation embedded on it. Give me the contents of a file. Here's the path and here's the encoding. By the way, you fundamental type called string, you have to go know how to deal with files and encodings and reading the file with an encoding with a path. Talk about terrible coupling of design. So what is this? It's probably an extension. It's probably a monkey patch. Yeah, it's a monkey patch. I can't blame Apple for this one. This is why monkey patching is bad. So somebody basically patched IO methods on top of a fundamental type for the sake of convenience. Yeah, that's bad coding. Okay, string plus extensions. Well, let's see what we got. String contents. Okay, so it looks like we're getting close to something useful. Here's the actual IO operation right here. So this is a variable. It's not even a method. This is a property. This is a method pretending to be a property. So accessing this property invokes automatically this IO operation just by merely accessing it. Wow. So how do we actually write? Amazing. Amazing. Where were we? Maybe I should just look at the this is fun. Okay. So we're basically bouncing away and bouncing back into our same class. Another great thing that happens in OO when things are badly designed and you have bidirectional coupling between classes and objects. This methods here call out to methods on another object, which call back to methods on this object. One of the things that's always been really hard in object-oriented programming from the very beginning, and it always bothered me. I mean, I was sold on it. I was sold on this was the savior of architecture and design and reusability. But I always noticed coming from procedural programming into object-oriented programming, I immediately could not see the thread of control. I immediately could not see the path of execution. Procedural code, you can see, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going there, I'm going there. Even in functional programming, although it's declarative, there's an order by which things occur, and you can pretty much follow that order easily. In OO, suddenly you've got this forest of objects, and things are just bouncing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And with polymorphism using, subclass, subtype polymorphism, which basically means the actual execution of operations ends up being on subtypes and subclasses, and you don't know what they are until runtime. It's almost impossible to statically be able to see. In fact, it is impossible to statically be able to see where the path of execution is going to be. Functional programming, procedural programming, the static the way you follow code statically is also the way it executes dynamically. It's not the case in OO. And that's one of its greatest weaknesses. You pretty much can't use it without a debugger. All right, enough preaching. So string contents of file. So this gets the string. This is effectively a get. Where's the path? Oh, it's passed in. I see. And it's this call right here. All right, so this is our get. This is all we really need. And this file manager default, which is a singleton, of course, contents, in other words, read file. And data is its generalized return type so that it could be binary or string or whatever, and obviously you need to interrogate what that is. So back to where we were. Hopefully we're going to end up simplifying this a lot. We're not going to need this for the store because that's a write operation. This is a read operation, but I'm just going to put this comment in here. So, because we are going to need to read the files back. So to do, code for read operation. Yep. So let's take a look at, actually, I probably have to uncomment this, contents. And again, are we going to be flipping back around? Okay, here we go. Contents at path. All right, so now we're down to an actual API call. These methods are provided for compatibility. Yeah. So originally, it made sense to go out to an object representing the file system. That's what file manager is, right? It's an artificial object. And say, here's a path, give me the data at that path. But now they're like, oh no, that's not object-oriented enough. Let's go to the data class and ask it to, I mean, look at this. Corresponding methods on NS data, which return NS errors, should be regarded as the primary method for creating a file from NS data or retrieving the contents of the file. So they're basically saying, yeah, don't do the straightforward, go to the IO pipe and ask it for content. Go to the content and ask it to access an IO pipe represented by the path. Should we do that, or should we just do this for compatibility? Well, let's just go to NS data and see what we have to say for that. I don't know what that is, Xcode. This class that's used everywhere. I don't know what it is. NS data, never heard of it. Shall we do the chat GPT? Shall we ask it? Well, that's kind of where the world is going, it seems. So I'm going to follow along. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Now you can see my politics. Don't look at my politics. All right. Somewhere around here I have a browser window. I'm going to pause. Pausing. Okay, continuing on. Here we go. This is the last thing I did with ChatGPT. So supposedly there's a new Gemini. It's supposed to be more amazing. Gemini should show up. Google DeepMind Gemini. Here we go. No thanks. Hands on. Watch highlights. Yeah. I don't care about any of that. Let's just use ChatGPT. Let's just see how smart it is. Okay. So here we go. Show me how to simply store a string into a file on iOS using Swift. So let's see what the default API call looks like. File manager class, we know about that. Save string to file. Oh, this is something it's writing for me. In the example, save string takes the string content. Oh, hey, look at that! It just gave me a procedure. Didn't even make an object out of it. That's kind of refreshing. I've already got my procedure in place. There we go. Content write to. Content is a string. So literally, I just say string write to. That's as straightforward as it is. Atomically true, encoding UTF-8, so, okay. Well, that saved me some time looking up documentation. So ChatGPT is a pretty good documentation assistant. I'd say for now, that's its strength. So that would have saved me time rather than digging through all this. So basically what I'm going out to essentially is, I'm not even going to the file manager itself document. Okay, so we still have to do the same thing. We have to get a document directory from the file manager. This builds our URL for us. If let. Look at how much boilerplate is still recommended though. I mean, there's got to be a way to condense this down and do a nicer, cleaner way. Default URLs. So we already have this file service that should have established the standards for where things are getting stored. Let's go back to that. Path to string folder, rs file service folder equals docs. So I'm guessing this is our default, which is the private file data for the app, for the user. Search path for directories in domains, document directory, user domain mask true, temporary directory. So it looks like, yeah, I've seen this before in the app, how it's used. So basically there's a docs folder, there's a temp folder. These are just aliases for this and this. Okay, fair enough. String by pending path component path. So this just builds the path that I need. Okay. Let file manager equal file manager default. This is basically your local variable, just so you don't end up retyping this over and over again. So the issue that I have here is that I would like to just reuse this function, save data, right? I mean, it's already defaulting to the docs folder. I'm already can pass a path that's a string. But what it's basically insisting that I do is I take my string content and represent it as data, because it's going to go through all this rigmarole and then it's going to write it. Can I simply pass the string as data? Probably not, right? Whereas in the ChatGPT example, I can go straight from the string class itself. The content is just a string. And I can say content write to. So this is an example of showing you how there's a lot of work here to try to provide some kind of reusability, but just the choice on static types here and the assumptions about the way content data string, whatever is going to be represented is assumed. And I obviously need to do this stuff, so I'd like to reuse this stuff. Although this looks redundant. Document directory, if the folder is docs, I try to build a URL for the document directory using what looks like the same sort of stuff here. If it's not docs, it assumes temporary. So this is bad. So we can see here we've got docs or temp or something else, and this just assumes if it's not docs, it's temp. So different generations of code here, and there's some redundancy in this. So do I even want to reuse any of this? No, I think I want to just go directly to where I need to go. And I can refactor some of this stuff out. Remember, I'm probably going to replace this actual IO code in a platform with something a little more platform independent. So I am kind of cut and pasting here because I can't just call this, or can I? You know, we're back to what the hell is in this data, and how do I mean, well, let's ask ChatGPT. It's our research assistant. How do I convert a Swift string to an NS data? You can convert it. So you just say data and you get data. Okay, so I could just reuse this in theory. I should have asked ChatGPT, would have saved me some time. Wow, it's making a case for itself. Impressive. Okay, so back to where we are. Okay. It's the code's already doing it. Really, I just need to replace this with S. All right, so there's our guard. I'm not really a fan of using guard as Jose Jose would say, Jose Valim. I actually like saying if let data although, yeah, see, there's the else return. So what's the difference between guard let and what's funny is with composability, I should be able to take this. So this is basically, it's our conversion. We don't need this right now. It's been a learning exercise. Let's line this up so we can see what's going on here. Why did it do that? Why did it make a color underline there? Else return. Yeah, see how complicated this is? Why don't we just say if let, then we're going to do the other thing. I don't need the else return. Obviously, I'm returning below with the app mutant. So really it is if let. Okay. If we get a non-nil result, we're going to take that result, we're going to shove it forward. Now, it would be nice to get rid of this intermediate and literally just go. See, the save data is the right operation. Yeah. Oh. This is file spec. They call it path, and I call it file spec. Let's just compile this and see what happens. So I am reusing existing code here. Okay, compiles. Yay. Let's see if it gets that far. There we go. The data is 4708 bytes, and the file spec is that. So it's going to end up writing the same file every time. Well, that's fine. Let's see if it throws an exception. No exception. Continue on. There we go. Now it should end up writing new data into the same file. So all this is doing is it's saving every line set it gets into the same file because our file name isn't changing. And if there was a nice file system viewer, I could actually see local files for this app. But this is iOS, and it's not going to let us do that easily. Well, there is technically a Files app, I believe, but yeah, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so how do we know if it worked? I don't know. We just assumed that it did. But before we continue on, let's go ahead and modify it to... I actually have a function in here, delete all files. Right there, look at that. This is inside my breaker panel. I think this blows away all local, delete all files and URLs. Yeah, this basically wipes the local user directory, which is cool. So I can get rid of garbage after the fact. I wrote that already. Okay, let's get back to this. So we don't want to hard code this file spec. The file spec that we want, we need to build this to basically just be script ID, predicate with format. Okay, so I got to do some string interpolate or string building here. Yeah. To do name of new line set from script scene. All right. So I kind of got to dig down and see how I can parse out the stuff that I need here. I mean, we can see we're getting some of this already. We're getting a script creation date from the JSON. Right, we come in here, got a script. This grabs the JSON block for 9 line sets. This gives us the cloud line set itself. It really is this code in here, create from JSON, that's going to tell us what we can find inside the JSON to uniquely identify it, to create a properly unique file name. And that's in the dead code folder because we moved it out into dead. Line set JSON, here we go. Ah, that's why it's so cryptic. When I was actually looking at it, I couldn't really tell it was in the JSON because it uses these well, my variable names are cryptic, but this is pretty cryptic. Creation date TD, modification date TM, sync script created TC, TL, TS, TN, okay. All right, so, wow, look at that. Let's look at the actual M file. Yeah, it's pretty much tells us right there. These are the keys. It's the keys right here. Statically defined in the header. Yeah. Okay. So again, this is just metadata. That's why storing the JSON as is so much easier than shoving it into a database when the actual contents of the line sets, the lines themselves, are going to be audio files for the most part. I don't even know what lines are in this case. So sort number, display name, sync script created. This is a Boolean on modification date and creation date. We don't have an ID. We don't really have an ID. We have a script, and the script has an ID. I think if we look at the actual line set core data properties, it puts the script ID, it puts the script in there. I mean, this is an object relational mapper, so it's basically taking its association to a script and probably using that as a foreign ID into the SQLite database. So a particular line set is going to have an associated script, i.e. a script ID. And then what's the unique ID within multiple line sets? Sort number. The logic in here basically says if the creation date is the same, it's the same line set. That's what this does. Right here, this predicate says, look, if you find an existing line set with the same creation date, then I'm going to treat that as the local version of this particular line set. Because it says if I didn't find that line set with this date in my set of local copies, then it's a new one. It's a date that's not currently found. But if it is the same date, it's an update, and that's the logic. So uniqueness is the creation date. So really it is this creation date. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to do string interpolation, which I have to be honest, off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure how string actually I do know how string interpolation works in Swift, because I should have quite a bit of it in here. I have some string interpolation in here somewhere. Uses backslashes. This is how I do my coding. Well, hey, you know what? Let's ask ChatGPT. How do I build a string, formatted string, using interpolation in Swift? There it is, backslashes, name. All right, stop, that's enough. Complex formatted string, this is all I want. What? Oh, I have to give it intermediate variable names. How do I do it without intermediate variable names? Yeah, I don't want to have to use intermediate name. Okay. How do I pass arguments to the string formatting without using intermediate variables? Show me. I'm looking. String format, there we go. Ah, that's what I want. Yeah, it just looks like your basic sprintf. Okay, that's fine. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's just copy this. All right, well, it's like a little coding assistant. Not bad. Where was I? Where am I? Oh, I'm in here. I'm building yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm not a big fan of unnecessary intermediate variables. I don't find it making code more readable. I find it makes code reading more arduous. Because even though you say age equals name equals, you still have to go to the assignment of the variable and see what it's actually, how it's actually assigning that to the local variable. So it doesn't make it more readable, right? If basically somebody says, well, look at this. I can just see I use these variables name and age, but what is name and age? I just assume that these variables are set up properly. But if I really want to know, I have to go here and I have to look, okay, this is a string and this is a number, right? I can't see that from here. And all that does is it gives me essentially a comment over the value here. Whereas here, what's funny is that it used intermediate variables. So it didn't really gain anything by doing that. It still made the intermediate variables, which is kind of silly. All right. Oh, where was I? Here I am. Yes. So really just building a string from other strings. But this is what I want. I want this value for key thing in here. Okay, so self JSON, cloud line set in self JSON, script creation date. Self JSON. Oh, that's because this thing was using the intermediate variable JSON that it created for itself. Yeah, that's not what I'm doing here. It's just value for key. It's just a dictionary lookup. Okay. So creation date. This is the guy I'm looking for. La 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 la. So file spec is going to be interesting that it doesn't have the at. Oh, because that's just a string literal. This is, how is this not a string literal? Looks like it should have the at sign. That may be interesting. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, okay, right. Creation date, which is a string. Well, that's floating point. Now we're back to ChatGPT. Oh. Show me the string format specifiers. Oh, string format specifiers. So obviously pound S, that makes sense. So really what I want is S. It's going to be dot text. So I'm just going to say line set, actually reh, line set, script. These are line sets within a script, so it's going to be script, and it's going to be the script ID, line set, date. Line set created. So we're going to pass the script ID. So first let's take care of the second guy. So that's the format. Yeah, file spec. I hate the way this formats out. Oh, that's because we're doing this inside Objective-C. Yeah, not so great. All right. Format followed by, okay. So what are we doing? This is going to be script ID, some blah, 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 blah. Script ID goes here. And we're saying this cloud line set. Cloud line set value for key. And then this is the guy we want. Can I help you?
I need the heater.
Take it. Now, if we don't have a key, what do we get? Do we get an exception? Let's see. Let's just assume we get some kind of failure. And we're going to say unknown. Value for key or unknown. Okay. All right, so that's the second part. The first part is probably going to be, I think there's a script ID in the actual, no, there's a script, it already passed us in the script. Association is right here. Script. So the script class, pretty sure has an ID. So I think I can just say script ID. Can go script. Just for last, let it complain. So that's what we're going to get. Script ID, cloud set, value for key, creation date. So rehearsal script with an ID, line set created on this particular day. That's the logic. Show me some compile errors. Here we go. Implicit declaration. Oh, I'm inside Objective-C. That is not the way to do it yeah. Oh, I'm in Objective-C. No. Show me how to do the same type of string formatting, but in Objective-C. String with format. There we go. And a string with format. Looks pretty much the same. Gee, what a surprise. All right. So the difference is we say ls string and we say string with format. Put the format in here. Let's try that. Expected a colon. Okay, so this is the script ID thing. So let's jump to definition of script. Of course, we don't know what that is. Script.h. Let's take a look at our script core data class. So our core data script class. Oh, that's Swift. Properties. What do we got? It's a string. Script ID. That looks like what we need. So I should be able to just do that. And I'm going to put these on separate lines. So we're building the file spec. REH script. Script ID, line set created at a certain date. Doesn't like that selector. ¿Por qué no? This one has line sets for scripts creation date. string script ID. It's not a selector. It's a property on script. It's a property. I'm probably not doing the syntax correctly. It's not a method, it's a property. So it's not a method call. It's a dot operation. Well, script is a class, isn't it? Where's the script? Oh, script is lowercase. Do I do this? I don't program Objective-C. Yeah, that worked. Oh yeah, this is not Swift. So if this value for key is nil, in Objective-C, what does NS dictionary return for value for key when there is no key? Let me guess. Nil. Null. Null, nil. Nil, null. Nil. Exactly. Okay. Check for nil. Really? I should check for nil? You think so? Okay. How in Objective-C, since they don't have an Elvis operator? No, I just use a trinary. This is why functional programming is so much nicer. I still have to, how do I do it without assigning an intermediate variable? I hate intermediate variables. How in Objective-C can I pass an alternative value for an expression that returns nil without assigning a local variable? Really? That's the Elvis operator. Oh, so that's where Kotlin got it from. Well, that's nice. Are you sure? Wonder if it's hallucinating. That's Kotlin for sure. Okay, that's nice. It's better than C++. I didn't like that. Why doesn't it like that? What doesn't it like? Incompatible operation types, ID nullable and car star. I'm guessing this is not, ID nullable. That doesn't look like that worked. What is wrong with this Objective-C expression? Mishmash in types. Left side of the operator should be an expression resulting in a Boolean value. I thought you said that was an Elvis operator that says if you return a nil, conditional check. But this is exactly the expression I just passed. So what's the problem? Oh, I don't have to say value for key? I was just copying that guy's code. I can actually do this. Is that even better? And I have to use a little @ Can I do that? Didn't like it. Didn't like that. Because I didn't do that right. It's almost there. Oh, thanks, ChatGPT. You're smarter than me. String with format. Caps. Yes, yeah, see? I think ChatGPT fucked up. Let's see. Oh no, he was showing me Swift, which doesn't have it. Let's see. La 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 la. Where's the string with format? Value for key, string with format. Yeah. He had it right. I had it wrong. That's an Objective-C thing. Okay. Form might specify char, but the argument has type nullable. Well, okay. That's nullable. Oh, it's a nullable property on the script object. No ID. No date. Can we do that? Incompatible types. Oh, I need the little @ don't I? @. What does that mean? Huh. Okay, I don't care. Let's try that. Seems to like it, except for the semicolon. What's missing? I think we're missing, yeah, we're missing the close. Okay, store string as file. We get the description. It makes sense. Here's our file spec. It's a string with this format. We say reh script with a meta character. Line set created. We insert script ID or no ID. We insert the creation date off the cloud line set or no date. Yeah, that should work. That looks good. Okay. And let's see what we get when we actually arrive. What does this file spec look like? Look at that. No date. So it does have a script ID. Was able to get that. That's cool. But didn't like the date. So that's not going to work too good. Creation date. Why is there no creation date? So line set should have a TD in it. And let's look at the actual, let's go back to here. What do we actually get past? I see a TC, there's a TD right there, TD. And that just looks like a big integer. Oh, this is JSON, it's not a string. So this JSON's already been parsed out. This ain't a string. That's why it doesn't like it. So, okay. So it failed to parse. Okay. That's what happened. We get down here, we get a creation date. There is a value there. Isn't there? Oh, no, wait. I did this wrong. This is what I want. Duh. Try that. That's the actual string representation for that field. Let's try that. Why is it not defined? It's defined at this point of code. It's in the dead folder. In the dead folder. Okay. We're going to cheat. We're going to do that. Creation date. We will generalize this later because we're going to replace all that with the lookups anyway. All right, let's see if that works. Cool. Boom. File spec is. Look at that. All right, so it just makes this big long integer. That's because that's a date time. That's like milliseconds since epoch or something like that. Which is fine because all I want is a unique ID, and that's going to give me a really unique ID. Hopefully there aren't two line sets created within the same. This is a JSON date representation on the back end, so this is probably milliseconds, microseconds. It's a big number. This is the ID, but that's good. That gives us our unique file name, which matches the logic that was used for treating it as a unique member in the core data. So at the end of this, it's going to write all these files out. Good. I like it. So really all we need is we just need the inverse operation. Store string as file. Load string from file. So load and store versus read and write versus create and update. So store implies create it if it doesn't exist, update it if it does exist. Same thing as save. So save string as file, save and load. Is that the terminology? Let's talk about terminology confusion. So create, update, delete, create reference, create, read, update, delete, which is CRUD. Can also be considered write, read, write again, delete, remove, eliminate, eradicate. Store string as file. Really all I need is a store, a load, and a remove. I don't need to distinguish update from create. I mean, that's essentially what save is doing. It's doing that automatically. Where was it? I don't think I need that. I am going to need that probably. Let's go back to the file service. So save data is the same logic. It basically says create it if it doesn't exist, right? If file does not exist, creates the directory path for it, and then it writes to it. If it does exist, it writes to it. So this is a save. Save is create or update. Create or update equals save. I like store because it's store manager, but the inverse of store is save and load. Do they use load here? Does he use load? No. Move item, store item, save item. I think store is better. It implies I/O. Save doesn't necessarily imply I/O. Store implies store. Put it in storage. So let's just save what we have for now. It'd be nice if I could see the actual files. There's probably a way to do that. Hey, let's ask ChatGPT. Meanwhile, let's add source. This is what we did. We're just squirrel this away with 2 save point. All right, backed up. Always back up remotely. That's my philosophy. What do I want to do now? Oh yeah, ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT. How can I use Xcode or some other tool to show me the files stored in the local user in iOS's file folders belonging to an app or a specific user. Yeah, I know it's sandboxed. Simulator, if using the simulator, you can access directly open Xcode, Simulators, click on the click on the gear, download container. If you're testing on a physical device, you can use what happened? File sharing feature. Okay. Connect to your OS device on your Mac, open device simulators Windows. All right, so basically, just from the simulator alone, I can supposedly see so devices and simulators under Xcode. All right. Bump. Ah, yeah, here we go. I've used this before. Russell Pro. Container. What's in there? Nothing. Download container. I don't see anything that says download container. Simulators? Oh, that's devices. Oh, this is on the phone. I'm looking for the simulator. Okay. It's not showing me nothing. Is there a way I can do it from the simulator itself? Device. I/O, input, output. Features, debug. I don't want to do that. File activity. What did that do? Oh, there we go. An activity monitor. Will this tell me the reading and writing of files? Oh, this is all processes on Mandor. It's not what I want. Stop. Okay, well, ChatGPT is not very helpful in this case. Select the running simulator under connected devices. Click on the app you want to explore. Click the gear icon. Huh. This thing is hung out to dry. Just started randomly grabbing. All right, let's kill this. Kill, die. Nope, that's what happens when you start using low-level development tools. They kind of take over the system and they crash the fuck out of it. All right. I have to force terminate this guy. Let's see if he's taking up all my CPU right now. No. But instruments, goodbye. Did it kill it? Huh. Let's try doing this on the device. Let's see if it makes it easier. We're going to the device right now. You can't see what I'm doing. It's not running yet. Run. Nope, it's building. That's still building. Devices and simulators. Devices. Okay. Gives me a console. That's kind of cool. I don't want that right now. Okay, it's running. Whoops, lost that window. All right. First, let's just see if we can see what's there. All right. Nothing. Same thing. Download container from. Let's just put this on the desktop. Actually, no. Let's put it somewhere better. No, desktop's fine. Desktop's fine. So we have to download the container. Downloading application data. So I just can't see, literally can't see the live thing. I have to go to the container. That's what it actually told me to do. Save the container to a location on your Mac. Click the small triangle to reveal the app. This is the sharing thing. Small triangle next to your app's name. Interesting. Well, let's see if we got anything on the desktop. All right. I just got a blob. What does that tell me? Anything I can use? No. That wasn't helpful. Okay, it says there's a little triangle. I don't see a triangle. Click the small triangle next to your app's name. I don't see a small triangle next to the app's name. Doesn't support file sharing, or the app is not running. Oh, well, no, I don't think file sharing is enabled. Yeah, so without file sharing, there's no way to see the actual files. I basically have to write code inside the program to interrogate its file structure. Why can't Xcode, I mean, that's the nice thing about Android. I can just immediately look at the file system for the local file system for an app, straight from Android Studio. So Xcode does not have any feature to simply show the contents of its running apps file system. No, Xcode does not provide that. Yeah, you just repeated everything you just said. Well, yeah, I've got the, yeah, what do I do with this? A rehkmp Xcode? Can I open this with Xcode? This is what I get, app data. Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah, I gotta build some internal diagnostics. I mean, I've already got a thing that goes through and wipes all the files out. I could certainly just build some UI that goes through and interrogates this. Yeah, delete all files and URLs. Here's a local function, for each contents of directory. There we go. See, file manager, contents of directory, remove item. I guess I'll just have to add my own feature to do it. That would be really nice. Actually, why don't I just run this? Why don't I just wipe out all the local data? I'm cool with that. Yeah, that works for me. In fact, this will be a good test. Let's put some breakpoints on the error. Okay. Switch back to the simulator so you can see what I'm doing. That works. This is going to save me some time. Bup. Okay, we'll let this fly. Let this fly. Ooh, somebody didn't like something. Unrecognized selector sent. Object for keyed subscript. Yeah, where? Save server scenes and groups. Now I've disabled a lot of code, so it's probably not happy about something. My scenes parser, synchronizer. I think we're here. This is the exception. We're throwing an exception from here. Are we throwing an exception here? Well, let's try running this again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of these blows its brains out. If this fails, I should get this string. I'm guessing this is throwing an exception. Rather than giving me a nullable. What is the actual exception? This is why exception handling sucks. It completely wrecks your thread of execution. Invalid argument. Object for keyed unrecognized selector. Great. Okay. ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Help me. Help me. Help me. Does this Objective-C expression throw an exception when the specified dictionary key is not found? I think you're lying. When the key is not present, the result will be nil without causing an exception. This looks like an exception. Object for keyed subscript. Unrecognized selector. I believe that you might be wrong. iOS is throwing this exception when the specified key in the expression above is not found. Specific to NS dictionary, and if you attempt to use it on an NS array, it will result in an exception. Really? This might actually be helpful. Ah, it does treat it as an array. The actual JSON is not an array, is it? Let's look at the JSON again. So remember, this thing's parsing dynamically typed JSON into statically typed objects. So what do we actually get? That is a JavaScript object with name value pairs in it. I do not see an array. Of course, I don't know what the actual original JSON looks like. There's no array in there. I don't see any brackets. Let's see what the actual JSON looks like. Because we have it. We have self JSON, don't we? I probably have to print it. Well, it's not actually JSON. This is, again, another example of bad naming. That's actually a dictionary. It's a dictionary. Swift deferred NS dictionary. So, okay. So that was 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continued on this time. What the fuck? Huh. Is it running? Doesn't seem to be responding. Let's try this again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. Boom, 16. All right, and if we go back to here, we don't know what that is. We don't know what that is. Okay, let's try 16. It was 16, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now let's take a look at 0 elements in cloud line set. But what is it? It's an array. So up to that point, it's a dictionary. In this case, it's an array. Why is it an array? It looks like it's empty. It looks like it's an empty array. But the whole JSON is a dictionary. That's the whole JSON for the script. This particular guy, value for key, is an empty array. It's not null, it's an empty array. So filtered array count. Oh, I commented this out. It should still never get through this for. That must be a bug in the code here. Maybe this is part of the bug. When it gets 0 elements, the previous code was doing a filter and then it was creating a new element. But the cloud line set in this case was going to be empty. Wonder what that did. Create from JSON a dictionary, which it's not. It's an array. And what would happen in the old dead code? Create from JSON dictionary, create object in context, dictionary value for key. This should have been throwing exceptions, because we see that if you say value for key on something that's not actually a dictionary, it would fail. Maybe we just have corrupted data. But at this point, we need some code here to say fuck off. So let's take this. This is basically a cast test. So we want a not. If not, what kind of logging do we have in here? Anything, any logging, any logging, any logging? Probably not. There we go. Got some logging. Did I disable the logging in here? Yeah, we want to log an error. And line set. Returned. Let's see. Let's see what other logs we have in here. It's got a bunch of logging in here. Guess we'll do the script ID thing again. Are these my traces? My scripts parser. I notice how the log out here never says anything about, let's see where this is. Some static up here. Jump to definition. Search, find text in workspace. Line scene synchronizer. Where is the actual definition of this guy? Notice how line scene synchronizer log constant is all over the place. Here it is. Line scene synchronizer. Great. Well, I'll just stick to that for now because this is old code anyway. Failed. Invalid. JSON. Returned for cloud line set. How's that? Invalid JSON from cloud for line set of line set from cloud script ID. Let's do that. And we'll put script ID in here. Script.id. Script ID. Yeah. Do a new ID again. Obviously, this could be dried. And let's put a comment. Let's make sure we know that I'm doing this. So it should never get to this. It should never, we should slam into this. See what happens. Compatible types. Likey. That worked down here. Oh. Yeah. See what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Boom. 16. Did it again. Oh, I didn't return. Oops. Oops. I think I'm gonna do a continue. Yeah. To use semicolons in Objective-C, right? Continue the loop. Let's try that again. Okie doke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. Rehearsal 3, line scene synchronizer, invalid JSON, line set from cloud, script ID 418912. Okay. All right. Bingo. Let's see if we can delete. Well, where's my breaker? Breaker's not working. So this is my red breaker box that has these functions like delete all files. Why can't I click on it? Is it because of this crap up here? Breaker, breaker. I can click on that. I can't click on breaker. Maybe it doesn't work on this size display. I might need to fix that. All right, I'm going to run this on the device. I didn't test that breaker box on all devices, so let's just try it on this phone and see what happens. You can't see the phone. Well, I could do a screenshot of it, but we're going to try running it on there. All right, well, at least I fixed an exception. That's good. Okay. I wonder if I get the same number. 1. No. Interesting. Oh, I don't have all the scripts. Oh, this is a different account. Okay, I'm gonna use my breaker box. Yeah, see the breaker box comes up on the phone, on the small phone. I'm gonna do a delete all files. And delete all files found to file. And what does it look like? Item. Show me the item. Love this debugger. I have to enter print commands because there's no way to just do a watch on an item. And it's going to be some NS object pointer value, which tells me absolutely nothing. There it is. Documents, line M4A. So that's an example right there. Just FYI to those nobodies that I'm talking to other than myself. Yep, local storage, cool. Can I set a watch on this? Can I watch it? Can you watch it? Quick help, create column breakpoint. What's a column break? Oh, it breaks on the column. I don't want to do that, I want to watch this. Let's try ChatGPT again. Yay. How can I watch a variable that I am debugging in Xcode? Question. A blue breakpoint glyph will appear. Yeah, I got that. Open the debug area. Okay. Run the debugger, stops the breakpoint. Yeah. Debug area, activate, I've got that. Variables view and selecting add expression. Well, where's the variables view? Yeah, this thing just spins forever. Yeah, the variables view. The variables view has a spinner that never stops and shows nothing in the window. Restart Xcode, update Xcode, try a different view. Such great tools, such great tools. Thank you. Thank you. You're of no help. All right. It's the same file every time. Now these are different files. Why don't I just log them? Doing this the hard way. Hard way. Let's just log this shit out. Have any logging in here? Log, 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 log. Not the sort of logging I'm talking about. It's probably just a print. Pretty sure in yeah, I'm pretty sure in Swift it's just print, right? Print, 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 print. I have a print trace in here. Start out Swift. Print trace, print trace. Those are not traces I put in. Those are traces someone else put in. There's mine. There's mine right there. Yeah. Removing item. I guess it's an at, right? It's just an at, or is it percent at? Percent at, percent at. Switching between languages is annoying. Oh, that's right. The parentheses is an expression. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that the hard way. Just item. Just do that. Just do that. Deleting local file. Deleting file. And let's do this. Before. Let's try that and see what happens. All right, here we go. So technically it should have started deleting a lot of local files. I'll just get rid of that. Let's just continue on. All right. So, what did it do? Did it delete the files? There's trace. There we go. Bingo, right there, reh script. Okay, so I can see that it created the file. So basically this stuff is all top level under documents, which is fine. Reh script line set created at this particular date. That's what I want. You can see all the other stuff. Cool. That's what I wanted. I'm actually deleting the local database. It looks like core data, SQLite. It's not discriminating. It's just blowing it away. I think I should probably create a subdirectory under here. And is it text? It's just serializing it out, serializing the dictionary type out as text. Maybe I should qualify it as. Well, no, it serializes it out. Yeah, it's a text file. I'm not sure what the format's going to be at this point. NS dictionary description. Yeah, okay. We're making some progress. So, I don't want to call it text. I want to call it NS dic. We should create a subdirectory. .txt. Maybe I should say dictionary, script, text. I mean, it is a text file. Okay, rehearsal dictionary script text file. Yeah, good. Good. It's a good stopping point.
Not sure why it's going there, but that's okay. Let's clear this. And you can't see the app, but yeah, I've got a list of scripts. There's only 3, so that's good. This is a different user. This is a test user. Only got 3 scripts. They all have cloud icons. It's the synchronizer. It's showing us the synchronizer. I'm going to delete all the local files, and boom. Yeah, it doesn't like trying to delete the SQLite database. So core data, this is good to know, creates a user and SQLite. That's it. And the delete all files tried to wipe it out. It didn't like that. But this one got deleted. Actually, it looks like it did delete it. Default database, core data, default database. And here's the line set being saved. So eventually this core data is going to be gone anyway. All this core data stuff is going to be replaced with just text files. We don't need a SQLite database. All that code, all that relational mapping code is unnecessary. So rehearsal, dictionary, script, line set, created on this date. Good. Good. And actually it might have synced again. And let me see if it deletes the same files again. Delete all files. No, it doesn't seem like it picked it up again and recreated. Oh, because I wiped out the database. You wiped me out. Oh, maybe it did. Maybe it did. Let's see. Trace. No, it just keeps wiping out the database. That delete all files is a little gnarly. Okay, this is a good stopping point. We got what we wanted. Let's turn off the tracing. We don't need the tracing to be, we don't need trace spam. Where was that? We don't need constants, get out of here. Script properties, don't care. Facade, we don't need it this time. Here's where it is here. Let's just get rid of this. And this is really a diagnostic utility. It's not, users never going to have this, so it would be good to qualify this a little bit, but not important at this time. Okay. Get diff. Actually, let's get rid of the out. Get diff. So we caught a bug, potentially, that could have been happening with the old code here, where it was acting on trying to create a line set when this parsing here, well, the value for this key came back as an array rather than a dictionary, and an empty array in this case, or an empty object. I know it said 0 elements, so it seems like it came back as an empty array. It's not supposed to be an array at all. Just the fact that it's not a dictionary, this check goes, you're not a dictionary, I can't do anything with you, you're bad, go away. So that's good. We added this, we changed the name, that's all we've done. All right, get at source, get commit, web3, save point. All right, get push GitLab. Okay, I'm done recording. Goodbye. I wish you the best of luck.